Have you ever found yourself literally paralyzed by your own phone, just staring at it? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the ancient wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, and we're applying it to something that is profoundly human, but honestly completely magnified by our modern digital lives. We're talking about that agonizing wait for a message. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore a beautifully structured, timeless approach to reclaiming your personal dignity from all this digital anxiety, and most importantly, handing your power right back to you. So let's get into it.
So let me ask you, are you waiting for a sign? Look, we all know that specific kind of pain. You're staring at a glowing screen, the phone is just sitting right there on your desk, and you are waiting for just one text, just one call. But what the source material brilliantly points out here is that you aren't really waiting for a message, are you? You're waiting for confirmation. You're waiting for proof that what you felt was real, that it mattered, and ultimately that you matter. You are essentially treating your phone like it holds a final verdict on your self-worth.
And you know, there's a kind of waiting that doesn't actually look like waiting at all. It's a hidden wait. On the outside, you perform dignity perfectly. You're laughing with your friends, you're crushing it at work, you're replying to other people, and you deliberately keep that phone face down. But internally, somewhere deep inside, you've kept one room in your heart totally lit for them. It's this small, almost foolish little room where you are silently standing, just expecting to hear their footsteps at any moment.
The crucial turning point here is actually anchored in ancient wisdom. Verse 2.47 of the Bhagavad Gita reminds us, you have control over your actions, not over others' choices or responses. And guys, this is the first hard truth we really need to unpack today. You have to realize that this person, they know exactly where you are. They know exactly what a message would do to your heart. They know your exact softness. They know you'd listen, and they know you would forgive them. And yet, they're actively choosing not to reach out. Their choices are entirely 100% out of your control.
Because there is a brutal, undeniable difference between awareness and action. Let's use a really simple analogy to look at this. Imagine someone admiring a beautiful, completely priceless painting in an art gallery. They are fully aware of its worth. They can see its value as clear as day. But they just walk right past it without ever making an offer to bring it home. It's the same thing here. Someone can see your worth absolutely clearly. They have perfect awareness and still completely refuse to actively honor it. Knowing your worth is their awareness. But choosing you, well, that's their karma. That's their action. Let's just sit with this for a second. Knowing is not choosing. Love, at its absolute simplest, is not merely being aware of someone's value. Love is an action. If they aren't taking action, then this silence you are maintaining right now isn't actually bringing you any peace. Let's be real, your silence is just painful, agonizing restraint. You are just holding yourself back, waiting on an action that simply isn't coming.
When you're faced with this kind of indifference, the whole battleground shifts. It moves from their silence directly to your internal struggle. And Bhagavad Gita 6.5 gives us a major warning here. It says, you must lift yourself by your own mind, not let it break you. Think about it. You are fighting a war that the other person never even enlisted in. For them, today is literally just a normal Tuesday. But for you, this massive difference in emotional investment will completely break you if you keep romanticizing their distance. You have to use your own mind to lift yourself out of this trap.
Think about the sheer burden of waiting. Every single hour of not texting feels like you are trying to pull a thorn out of your own skin with your bare hands. It is an incredibly exhausting effort. But there is a distinct, beautiful contrast here when we look at the absolute freedom of discipline. When you stop framing your silence as some kind of waiting game and you start framing it as internal discipline, you actually reclaim your self-respect. You shift from being a passive waiter to an active, fierce protector of your own dignity.
Okay, so how do we actually do this in the real world? Here are the brutal but completely necessary daily habits you absolutely need to implement to reclaim your energy. First up, stop checking their last seen status. Just stop. Second, do not text first. And third, do not call just to fill that agonizing silence. And look, these aren't just petty rules to play hard to get. They are fundamental boundaries designed to stop you from bleeding your precious energy into a connection where the other person isn't even showing up.
Now, I know how exhausting this is. I really do. It is so deeply tiring to constantly soften your own anger, to carefully craft the absolute perfect sentence, or to send these subtle little hints just to remind someone that you exist. But Bhagavad Gita 3.3 offers the perfect antidote. It says, surrender your actions without expectation or attachment. Listen, what is truly yours in this life will never require this level of constant persuasion. You should never ever have to shrink yourself down to fit into someone else's timeline.
So let's break this down into clear, actionable steps for your daily relationships. Step 1. Stop performing for validation. You are not a candle standing in a room begging to be seen while someone walks right past you with both eyes wide open. Step 2. Surrender the action. If you do something kind for them, do it without demanding a specific reaction in return. And finally, Step 3. Remove the attachment. You have got to stop tying your own emotional stability to whether or not their name pops up on your screen.
And this brings us to a really tough realization. The source material describes accepting this as feeling almost like swallowing glass. Here it is. People choose what they want, daily, quietly, and repeatedly. They choose who they reply to, who they make time for, even when their life is pure chaos, and who they protect from doubt. Someone is being chosen by them daily. And if it isn't you, you have to recognize that your connection is based purely on your own expectations, not on their active daily choice.
I want you to really vividly visualize this with me. Imagine you are outside in the freezing cold, sleeping on the welcome mat of a door. You are waiting, you're knocking, you're just hoping someone inside hears you. But you are standing before a closed door that was literally never meant to open from the inside. And here's the thing, the fact that the door is closed does not mean you aren't enough. It just means you are waiting at the wrong door. Sleeping outside someone else's indifference serves absolutely no one.
So what do you do now? Well, you move. Even if your hands are trembling, even if you are crying, even if you completely and utterly still love this person, you have to physically and emotionally walk away from that closed door. This is the exact moment where you prioritize your own peace over the desperate, burning need for external validation. Is it terrifying? Yes, absolutely. But it is literally the only way forward.
And as the Bhagavad Gita so beautifully teaches us, the one who lets go of attachment and expectation finds peace. This right here is the core takeaway of our time together today. Letting go of this attachment isn't about giving up or admitting defeat. It is the exact moment you reclaim your personal dignity. True peace begins the very second you stop waiting to be chosen by someone else and you actively decide to protect your own spirit instead.
Which leaves us with this final incredibly provocative question. One day, the sign you've been so desperately waiting for won't be a notification pinging on your phone. It won't be their message. It will be your own self-respect. So, I have to ask you, will you let your silence choose you? Take back your energy, step away from the digital anxiety, and choose yourself today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it brought you some clarity and comfort, and I'll see you next time.